You shouldn't be talking. The True Stories of Amazing Horses, written by Kate Petty. This is the type of genre here is expository text. My turn. Expository text. Your turn.
Expository text.
For the people on the Zoom meeting, you may notice that I'm wearing gloves.
Yeah.
It's to help protect our class's most important resource, me.
Okay.
There is no security camera in there.
Okay, and we're back in 3, 2, 1. Again, this is expository text. Your turn. Okay, read what it says expository text is to yourself, because I'm going to call on somebody who's going to have to summarize and paraphrase for us. It's also in your book. People on the Zoom, I hope you can read it, but I kind of doubt you can, so I'll read it for you. Expository text recounts true events. There we go. That'll make it bigger. Recounts.
It's way better. I can.
Yeah, they can.
Perfect. Recounts a true event or series of events. Think about your own desired outcome for reading this selection to establish your own purpose for reading. So, what is an expository text? What is an expository text? Yeah. Parker, what's an expository text?
Expository text is it recounts a true event or series of events.
Okay, so it tells us about true events. And it's asking us to think about our own desired outcome for reading this selection to establish our purpose for reading. So if we're reading about true events, what might be our purpose for reading? What might be our purpose for reading? Anyone think they might know? You're reading expository text. Falcon.
To read.
Okay, we're going to read, but what's our purpose behind reading?
I have an idea.
Okay, let's hear it.
I think our purpose for reading is going to be to inform us.
Okay, good. So we're going to be trying, because it's real things that actually happen, we're probably trying to gain some knowledge, or we're learning something about animals.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have something to add maybe about what you think the purpose might be for us reading? Mackenzie.
Express. It might be to express.
Okay.
Because it starts with the X.
We're getting this a little bit confused with author's purpose. And I don't know what the author's purpose is on this one yet because I haven't read it. But reader's purpose, or what your purpose when you read, it's kind of the same, but it's kind of different. We're not expressing anything. You're either reading, and maybe I'm not doing a great job of this, but you're either reading for enjoyment or you're reading to gain information. And it can be both. Why does everyone have their ruler out? I've noticed that more than one person does. Did I miss something? Did we measure today?
Okay, we just want to play the fourth reading.
Oh, okay. It's for playing. I don't know where it went. Where did
I know.
If we just
we'll get it later.
with the lesson.
Not the time. Okay, perfect. Not the time, though. So, and you can enjoy what you're reading for knowledge, too. Like reading a history book, right? If you enjoy learning about history, like my younger brother loves reading about history. he enjoys it, but he's also gaining knowledge, right? So is this one just for enjoyment, or is it for enjoyment and probably knowledge?
Enjoyment and knowledge.
And I know that when we're reading out of our textbook, guys, we're always trying to gain some knowledge, yes?
Yes.
But like reading scene 2 last week, we were teaching you about plays, but that's more for enjoyment than it is for like, you're not getting factual information. You guys get the difference?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. All right. We're on page 264. Horses and humans have worked together for
Thousands.
of years. Hey, people on the Zoom, you're just a half second behind us. So it's okay to read with us, but understand you're going to be a half a second behind, and maybe it would be best to maybe be on mute because it doesn't match up, okay?
Okay. Okay.
So participate kind of, it's not as fun, I know, but contribute that way. From the, okay, we'll try that again. Here we go. From the, what does vast mean? That's one of our vocabulary words. Share with a partner, turn and talk. Ava, what's vast? Okay, a very like amazing, large. What else does it mean if it's a vast thing? Especially like if it's a vast wilderness, it's a large, unsettled area, right? So vast just means very, very large, because vast can apply to like land. It's a vast area of land. I can also have a vast knowledge of 4th grade math, which isn't as impressive as it sounds. It just means I'm good at doing elementary math. So, vast wilderness to the Hollywood movie set. Horses have served us faithfully while playing an important role in history. Horses can be found in our religion and
mythology.
Let's look at some of history's most famous horse heroes. What?
This is a video.
I don't think it's a video. I think it just plays the. Here, we'll try it.
Long journey. Pony Express riders took the mail 2,000 miles from Missouri to California.
I don't like it. I do it better.
Yeah, I do.
Long journey. Oh, first we should probably, if this is about the Pony Express, we should probably read the paragraph. Okay, now I'm modeling for you. When you read, because this is like something that could be in a textbook, okay? What you should do first, I see that says Pony Express under a long journey. That means I should probably read this paragraph first so I understand the Pony Express before I come over here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. When the little Mustang came into view, the crowd began to cheer. Her rider, Johnny Fry, led her into the packed town square of St. Joseph, Missouri. You should be reading in your book. You could be following along. You could be reading when I stop that. That warm April evening in 1860, Johnny checked the mail pouch on the
Mustang.
back for the last time as she snorted excitedly. A cannon boomed. They were away. The Mustang raced off into the evening twilight. Okay. They're not done talking about the Pony Express, but we can go over the long journey. Pony Express riders took the mail 2,000 miles from Missouri to California. Question: why didn't the Pony Express, you can see Missouri and California, why didn't the Pony Express run the the mail from Missouri this way? Blake,
Because there's ocean that way.
well, there's ocean that way too when you get to California.
Yeah.
Good guess. I like
There's a big city right there. There's no big city in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, but if I'm sending you mail from New York to California, the mail has to somehow get from New York to Missouri and then to California.
That is a lot.
So why isn't the Pony Express running from Missouri to New York? Elizabeth?
There's probably another mail thing taking it there and back.
There's another way to move the mail over there?
No, like a different mail thing, not the Pony Express. Is that a mail system?
Mackenzie?
I think it's probably because that Missouri's a little more closer to New York, and I want to take more of a longer journey.
Well, how did they get the mail from New York to Missouri? Rajan? Okay, they could have sent it down a river. Probably has more to do with the railroad. Yeah. At this time, the railroad had probably been built. Where did people first land from Europe in the United States? Over here, over here, or over here?
Second one.
East Coast or West Coast?
East.
Okay, so people started settling in the East Coast and building railroad tracks. And by this time, the railroad tracks had probably gotten out to Missouri. Maybe a little further, but they weren't completed. They had to start building railroad tracks. This area was unsettled. It was wilderness. Chase, pay attention. Put the pencil away because we're not writing right now. People hadn't settled out here and built towns yet, or as much as over here. So eventually, at some point, they start building railroads from both sides and start working towards the middle. But that didn't exist yet. You could ship the mail this way, either through rivers, maybe. I don't know, that some probably got sent that way. You could also throw it on a train and get it that far, which was probably easier and safer than having like the Pony Express. The Pony Express ran from here to here because there wasn't another option. Okay, this is a poster for the Pony Express service dates from 1861. 10 days it took them to get to San Francisco. Interesting. It also says the cost of sending a letter on the Pony Express was worked out by weight. A letter cost $5 per ounce.
Whoa.
Oof, it's expensive.
Especially for the time that it was. What if it was 10 hours?
Well, considering that, I don't know what stamps are right now, 50 cents, 75 cents, less than $1 to send a letter now. Okay, here we go. Leaving the cheering crowds far behind, horse and rider had entered history as the first ever Pony Express team. In 1860, there were no such things as and fax machines. If you lived on the west coast of the United States, keeping up to date with the latest news on the East Coast was almost
impossible.
It could take more than a month for mail to travel across the continent by wagon. The Pony Express was a horse relay designed to keep the mail moving day and night. It cut down the time taken for mail to reach California to just 8 days. Each horse and rider galloped at top speed to the next station. The rider leapt off the exhausted horse shouting, "Pony Rider coming!" The mail was transferred to a fresh horse and the rider galloped off again on his new mount. There were 157 relay stations and riders changed horses about 6 to
8 times.
The team risked death together on a daily basis. Much of the route lay through the homelands of American Indians, some of whom declared war on the invaders of their territory. Okay, this horse right here, take a look at that horse. Yes, me too. That's a Mustang. And this hardy breed is descended from the horses brought to America by Spanish explorers. Here's a picture of Pony Express riders. Pony Express riders had to be under 18 years old and weigh less than 126 pounds so as not to slow down their horses. So if you were 18, I guess you couldn't be a Pony Express rider. Interesting. Well, how does that, I know what you guys are thinking, how does that work? Because most 18-year-olds today probably wouldn't have a job like that. Well, in the 1800s, they didn't have school where you had to stay until you were 18. It's kind of your choice. So you're probably talking about kids that were 15, 16, 17 years of age. I can tell you that even 16-year-old me would not have been able to join the Pony Express. I weighed too much because I was like 145, 150 pounds. So I would have been too heavy. But you're not old. You're probably not old enough. I would say the Pony Express riders were probably somewhere between 15 and 17, 15, 16, 17-year-olds. What about what? I don't know. You'd have to do some research. But like a 14-year-old is an 8th grader. And that might be a little tricky. And I question that. I question if under is a misprint. I wonder if under they don't mean over, because that guy is not 18 years old.
No way. He looks about like his mid-30s.
Maybe.
No.
I don't think so. Okay.
Maybe he just grew a mustache.
Bro, the mustache is older than 18 or younger than 18.
Would you expect this selection to have mostly facts or mostly opinions?
Fact.
Why?
Because it's true.
Okay.
It happened in life.
Hadley, why?
Because it's about real events and real time. So if they were doing their opinion, they're not their own. That wouldn't be based on like an actual event.
Good. This is based on things that actually happened. Very good. Okay, moving on. One of the bravest riders was Pony Bob Haslam. Okay, we good? In May 1860, he arrived at a station to find the keeper dead and all the horses. He set out for the next station, which was 40 miles away. I knew I had to carry on. As I rode through the night, I kept watching my pony's ears. I knew he'd hear any ambush before I did. At the next station, he persuaded the keeper to leave with them. Bob and his tireless horse saved the man's life. The next night, that station was attacked. Okay, I read that Pony Bob was one of the bravest riders. I don't understand why the author has this opinion. I don't know what the danger is, so I looked at the illustrations and reread the captions to help me clarify. I see in the illustration that pony riders, they're carrying rifles. See? They'd probably do that in case there's trouble or danger. Now, I do understand it. I'm modeling for you and how you could understand that better. How does the author support the opinion that riders were brave? I want you to think about that as we read the next page too. It's a question coming up. So take a look. Here's an example of like a transfer. It says it took a rider 2 minutes to transfer between horses. Now, it said that, I'm going to take that. Thank you. It said that it takes 8 days to get the mail from the East Coast or from Missouri over to California, right? Do you think they rode 8 days straight?
No.
I don't remember. They might tell us later in here. I don't know how long they rode or how many stations they would ride. But at some point, another rider would take over. Does that make sense? They didn't ride the entire length in one. Jump on another horse, keep going, jump on another horse. They didn't go all the way to California. One rider didn't go the whole way with your mail. That would be insane. 8 days of riding without going to bed. So you maybe rode for like a day. I don't have my phone on me, I don't think, but I'm wondering if I should go get it because I'm wondering if people here need to start losing dojo points for not being on task. I gave you a giant break to eat your snack, and it seems like you guys still need more of a break. Do better. Next picture, saddle up. Mail pouches were sometimes sewed into the rider's saddle, and you can kind of see that. They'd put the mail in their pouch and they'd keep riding. Like,
On page 266, I noticed something about that guy's rifle, which is really rare in this day and age. It's like a rifle with a revolver.
Mm-hmm. Very good observation. Okay, top of 267. Remember, the question that you're going to need to answer when I draw a stick, so you probably want to be thinking about this, is how does the author support the opinion that writers were brave? Explain why this is well supported or factual, why this is a well-supported fact. I can't read. Explain why this is a well-supported or a faulty opinion. So it's his opinion that they're brave. You need to tell me if that's true. How does he show it? The Pony Express teams rode across rocky mountain passes and wide empty plains in scorching sun, pouring and freezing. If the rider fell off, some brave horses carried on alone to the next station. The final stop was Sacramento,
California.
Crowds of eager people would gather to watch the arrival of the last rider on the route, bringing them their mail and
Newspapers.
the success of the Pony Express teams proved that it was possible for the East and West Coast to keep in touch. It was a milestone on the way to modern America. The horses and riders that ran the Pony Express were real pioneers. The Pony Express is remembered today by horse lovers who ride the Express's desert tracks for their journeys pay tribute to the riders of 1860, who insisted that the mail must get
Through.
Okay, so here we have a picture of a stagecoach with 4 horses. It says, the Pony Express closed down when the transcontinental telegraph system opened in 1861. Stagecoach operators, Wells Fargo and Company, took over the route. So, in 1861, they stretched wires, kind of like telephone wires, all the way across the United States. And then you could send, it didn't go your message wouldn't go the whole way, but a telegraph is 2 pieces of metal. One's like what's called like a hammer, I think it's called, and you hit that. And there's something called Morse code where you can send a message, and it's long beeps and short beeps. They're called dots and dashes. So if you hit the button and hold it, it goes beep. And if you tap, it goes beep. So what you do is you'd be trained in that code. And if you wanted to send a message from like New York to San Francisco, it would go to different telegraph stations, and you'd go beep 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 beep, and there was I think it's 3 dots and dashes combined to make each letter, and you'd spell out the whole thing. Now I know what you're saying. Wow, that sounds like a lot of work. Yeah, but in a matter of minutes, I've sent it from like New York to Pennsylvania, and then from Pennsylvania to Ohio, and then Ohio. I'm looking at the map in the back so I get this right. From Ohio to Kentucky, and Kentucky to a station in Missouri, and Missouri a station into Nebraska, and Nebraska maybe you have to do a couple stations, but you can do that in a day or a few hours if when your message comes up. You guys understand what I'm saying? Where it takes 8 days to send that letter just from Missouri to California. That's probably not just getting it from New York to California. Plus, it's less dangerous. Sending dots and dashes across a wire is less dangerous than sending someone on a horse through uncharted territory, right? The wilderness. You guys understand? Okay, this is President Abraham Lincoln. In 1860, Abraham Lincoln's first speech as U.S. president was carried by the Pony Express. Okay, how does the author support the opinion that writers were brave? How do we know writers were brave? Mackenzie.
You know they were brave because if they were scared, they probably would have rode on the horses, or they probably would have quit riding it.
Okay. Anybody else? How do we know the Pony Express riders were brave? Danielle.
Because it says that they're in the scorching sun, and the pouring rain, and the freezing blizzards.
They went through some terrible conditions. Freezing rain or pouring rain, freezing blizzards, scorching sun, over rocky mountain passes. Ava, what else? Yep, we know that it said earlier that they went through uncharted places where sometimes the American Indians had declared war on trespassers. On top of that, we don't know. There were also people that would try and like rob obviously someone robbed that one station and killed the guy running it in charge of it, yes? And if it weren't for Pony Bob Haslam, the next one would have got it too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Blake.
They risked being like ambushed by American Indians.
Yes. Yes, they do. They risk being ambushed. Not just by American Indians, but by robbers and thieves as well. Okay. People on the Zoom meeting. You're getting out Fact and Opinion, page 92. It has a spelling worksheet on the back. I'm going to hand it out to my students. Fact and Opinion.
Which side are we doing?
Fact and Opinion right now. Fact and Opinion.
OPIN.
Fact and Opinion.
Could you please stop saying that?
Parker, you could always just not listen.
No, we're here to spelling test tomorrow. You can just like mute him.
Fact and Opinion, guys. Get your name, number, and date on it.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, it is.
I know we're doing it tomorrow because there's one last day. And then we're doing our name selection test on Monday. Subject.
Quiet.
Okay, we got this worksheet. Everybody got the name, number, and date on it?
Danielle doesn't.
Yep.
Sorry, Danielle.
I wonder if Porter's here. He hasn't said anything in a while.
I wonder if he's here too.
Yes, he is.
Perfect.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, so up at the top it says, a statement of fact can be proved true or false. You can also look at a reference book and ask an expert or use your own knowledge and experience. Like there are some things that I just know are fact because I have experience with those things. And some things I'd probably have to look up to see if they're fact. Like, was it Eva that told us the other day you won't sink all the way under quicksand? I didn't know that. Not that I don't trust Eva, but that would be something that if I wanted to verify it, I would have to look up because I don't have any base knowledge in that. So a statement of opinion cannot be proved true or false. It is a belief or a judgment. It often contains a word or judgment, such as best, should, or beautiful. It may begin with the words, in my opinion, or I believe. So we gotta understand those words. I know a popular one right now, like with sports, because sports people like to argue things, is who's the best basketball player of all time? Michael Jordan or LeBron James? Well, that's an opinion. You can't prove one way or the other. They never played against each other. They play different positions. And there's a ton of other basketball players that could probably be in the conversation. That's an opinion, right? You guys understand what I'm saying? We can't prove that one way or another. I know that I've said too that yellow Labrador retrievers are the best dog. That's my opinion. I know that my girlfriend's family would say that it's golden retrievers. And I think golden retrievers are pretty good dogs too. But in my favorite dog, in my opinion, the best is a yellow lab. I can't prove it. And I don't think that in all reality, I don't think there's a way you could, right? The best ice cream is, okay, you're too slow. Best ice cream.
Brownie dough.
Vanilla?
Yeah.
Brownie dough.
Brownie dough blizzard.
Cookie dough. Okay, so all of us have our own opinion about what the best kind of ice cream is. Can we prove that one is better than the other?
No.
No, Macy, vanilla is the best. But if someone was like, what kind of ice cream do you want, Mr. Rock? I don't think I would pick vanilla. I don't know what I'd pick off the top of my head, but it's probably not vanilla because there's so many other ones that I think are really good, okay?
Okay.
So directions, it says, read the following passage, then answer the questions below. So this is broken down. You got to be able to find the sentences. So, I'm going to zoom in on just one column to write in. When many people take a safari in Africa, they are excited to see lions, zebras. Zebras, however, are much more interesting. Zebras are exciting, graceful, relatives of horses. While their stripes make them beautiful, they also provide protection. Lions hunt zebras for food, but because lions are colorblind, the zebra's stripes make them difficult to see. The herd is camouflaged in the tall, wavy grass. If hyenas attack, the herd encircles the young zebra. The stallion fights the predators bravely. Young females will flirt with stallions from nearby herds. The female's father, however, is protective. A young stallion must prove himself by challenging her father to a contest of strength and fighting skill. If the young stallion wins, he takes his new mate home to his herd. Clearly, besides being the bravest, most beautiful animal in Africa, zebras are also the most romantic. Okay. Question 1. In the second is the second sentence a fact or opinion, and how can you tell? The second sentence starts right here. Zebras, and it ends right here. Remember, to be a fact, you must be able to prove.
After lion, that's after lion.
Oh, sorry. My bad. Second sentence starts, zebras are much more interesting. Fact or opinion, and how you can tell. Remember, to be a fact, you must be able to prove it. So go ahead and do number 1. If you're not sure, maybe you want to ask someone, i.e. me. Fact or opinion, and how you know. And is it okay just to write fact because it is, or opinion because I know?
No.
No, you need to have evidence. If you're looking for what the evidence is, look up at the top where it tells you what a fact and opinion is. Who's still working on number 1? Okay, a couple people, we'll give you a little bit more time. Yeah, it is cool.
Mr. Rob,
No,
you should put those gloves back on your shoes.
probably.
Please don't. Please.
If you're done, what would be a better option than talking?
Mr. Ross,
Stop.
what do we do once we're done?
He said, what should we do once we're done?
You can wait a few seconds till we move on to number 2.
Mr. Ross,
Yeah,
what do you do once you're done?
all done?
Yeah.
Well, Porter, we were working through this together, step by step. I guess you can do the spelling on the back and I'll catch you tomorrow. Okay, number 2 says, the third sentence contains both fact and opinion. Which phrase is the fact? Now this one is the one that I was doing before. Zebras are exciting, graceful relatives of horses. There's a fact and an opinion in that sentence. You need to tell me what the fact is and how you know.
Wait, you have to explain
It'd be nice if you did.
because it doesn't say it.
Okay, you do you, okay? I think I would, but you do you. I'm not gonna. Fight you.
Mr. Roth,
Yeah,
do you know if never mind, I figured it out.
excellent. Who needs more time for two? Okay, I'll give you another second here. Okay, how about now? Are we ready? Good, we're gonna move on. Number 3 states, is the fifth sentence a fact or opinion? How can you tell? So this one, you definitely do need to explain on this one. The fifth sentence, that's 3, this is 4, it's this one. Lions hunt for food. That whole thing right there that I underlined. Yeah, because look, sentence 1 is this one. Sentence 2 is the one that I put in brackets with pencil. Sentence 3 is this one that I put in brackets with pen. The 4th one is this one I didn't do anything with. The 5th one starts right here. This part right there. All of that. Fact and opinion and how you know. Who needs more time? Okay, few of you, good. Okay, and for those of you that are done, if you need to finish up 3, you can do that. Number 4 says, is the seventh sentence a fact or opinion, and how can you tell? Same deal. Remember, if you want it to be a fact, it has to be able to be proven somehow, some way. If it's an opinion, there are some key words. So this one was the fifth sentence. The sixth is here. The seventh is the first sentence on this page. If hyenas attack, the herd encircles the young zebras. People on the Zoom, I'll go over that spelling page here in a second. And then you guys are kind of on your own. You can stay on if you need help. Otherwise, that's going to be it for reading and writing today.
So we can leave. Is that what you're telling us?
If you don't need me to go over the spelling page with you.
What? What did you say?
If you don't need me to go over the spelling sheet, then you can go. Because all I do is go over that.
Bye.
Yeah.
See ya. Okay, we ready for spelling?
Yes.
Mackenzie, are you close?
Yes, we are.
Okay, perfect, good. All right, we're gonna look at the spelling page. So our skill this week is consonants with these combinations, or consonant pairs, these combinations, NG. And an example of that would be like among, NK, such as in Thanksgiving, PH, such as in wrath, and WH, such as in wheel. The first one is to proofread a poster. Andy made a poster for the team fundraiser. You need to, hey, pay attention so you know what we're doing. We need to circle 6 words. So in this part, they need to be circled. Then you need to write the words correctly on these lines right here. It says to find the run-on sentence and collect it. Now, a run-on sentence is like, if I wrote all of this in a sentence. I have a dog named Cy, and he is a yellow lab, and he likes to go hunting, and he likes to eat a lot of food, and he begs for food because he likes human food a lot. Is that one sentence? No, there's about 4 or 5 different thoughts in there. And they should be broken up because remember, a subject has, or a sentence has a subject and a predicate. Now you can have a complex or multiple subjects, Mr. Roth and his class, and you can have multiple predicates. Mr. Roth and his class took attendance and then went to music. But I wouldn't write a sentence like this. Mr. Roth and his class took attendance, went to music, came back, started math. At some point I should say they went to music, period. Then they started math. You get that? Different thoughts, okay? So the seventh one, and again, bonus is, the seventh one in a bonus is, can you find a run-on sentence? Down here, proofread words. Braden, I'm about ready to rip that up and make you start over. I think you're working while I'm going over it. And last week when we had a spelling worksheet, many of you, or actually earlier this week when you had a spelling one, I guess it was last week, wasn't it? When we had a spelling worksheet, many of you didn't follow the directions and write in your ARs or ORs, and you ended up getting a redo, didn't you? So maybe we want to listen to Mr. Roth when he goes over things so that we don't have silly redos. He's not going over it because he does or he needs it for himself. I'm doing it for you. Also, he talks in the third person a lot, apparently. In here, they want you to write the underlined words correctly, then follow the directions. What you see may surprise you. So these are directions. Draw a large red dot in the middle of a sheet of graph paper. You won't have graph paper, but you can use just a piece of paper. Then stare at the dot for 30 seconds. Don't blend. Then stare at a blank wall for 15 seconds, and white wall works best. A white wall works best. What color dot do you pick? You will see. So they actually want you to do that, and you can go ahead and do that if you'd like. Questions, comments, or concerns?
No.
Okay. Get to work.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.